Everyone, thanks for visiting Joseph's channel. I got some urgent sort of news. You probably have been following, but I'm just checking the news outlets right now regarding the coronavirus. And China says the death toll has hit now greater than 300, and at least 14,000 cases are confirmed. This is definitely a jump in the numbers, which we all have expected. We've all expected that these numbers are being fed to the public, to the world populace, almost the same way as feeding a gerbil or a hamster some food or grains one bit at a time. So we're being fed this information in a diluted form. First, in January 20th, 2 days after the death toll, first the death toll was 15, 20, and then it jumped to 52 for 1 or 2 days, then to 102, and then to 200. Now it's jumped to 304. That's from the official sources. And what's the next number that they're going to give us? Is it going to be 600 tomorrow or in 2 days? Is it going to be 1,200? Well, we have 14,000 cases confirmed, right? It's 14,000 cases confirmed, and the death rate so far from this virus is a 50% death rate. So if you look at the number of people that have been infected, the people that died, or 100 at that time, just like a few days ago, were 100 or 102. That's what they're telling us. And with almost 100 people that recovered. So from these 14, we know the death rate is about 50%, 14,000. So, and how long are these people infected for? Is it a few days? Is it a few weeks? How we can see the situation on Twitter. You can look at a lot of video on Twitter at this point, where you have doctors in masks in Wuhan holding assault rifles and and handguns, shotguns. It's almost like you're hitting the zombie apocalypse there in Wuhan. Are they killing people? Are they protecting themselves? How are the people's reacting? Are they in hysteria? Are people fleeing or trying to flee, which we've seen, people trying to run away from these quarantine sites? So it's definitely not an easy situation, and it's not, it looks, according to these diluted numbers, it doesn't look like it's stabilizing or decreasing. You know, it's not like this situation is looking like it's under control, even with these diluted numbers. From the information I'm checking on Twitter and from people that are there, from professionals, medical professionals there, it seems like the number is at least 100,000 infected, with several thousand already dead. But now we'll know in the next few days. If tomorrow they say 600, and then 2-3 days it's 2,000 people dead, unfortunately, we're in a catastrophe at this point, a point of no return. I think the economy is going to collapse. At least the global economy. So we see here some information. Philippines has expanded its travel restrictions. You can see all the surrounding Asian countries around China have blocked their borders, shut down the borders. There's been call of open borders across the world, mass migration to Europe and United States, Canada, and other countries, and then look what God allows to happen. We have now borders that need to be shut down on people. The situation there is a dire situation in China, with China refusing to accept help from or aid from President Trump due to the situation there. And I think what happened exactly is there was a professor in Harvard University, Professor Charles Leiber, apparently is now taken into custody. You can read about it. I'll try to post another video tonight on that. And he's a professor in nanotechnology and nanoscience and biology. Apparently, several of his students were smuggling biological strains of bacteria and viruses in vials. They were caught. They've took him in custody because he's been taking over $50,000 per month in financial support and funding from the Chinese government. So things are going a little bit freaky in that direction. A Harvard University professor, you can guys check him out, Charles Leiber, and they've now taken away his professorship license there from Harvard, so you can check that out. And as a blockage, the Chinese government has refused to accept aid from President Trump. So these numbers are diluted. I don't want to trust at all the mainstream media at this point, because they're giving you the numbers. As you can see, it's on a rise. So we already know it's in a dire situation. It's bad. And they just give us these numbers diluted. What are they trying to just prepare us? You know, as if people care, or people are not stupid right now. We're not stupid. If you tell us the truth, at least we can accept the truth and work on it, as opposed to it coming to a point of no return. You know, the United Nations, WHO, should have given this issue a global emergency, knowing that this virus is out of control. You got they said 35 million. Now we have 50 million people in lockdown in quarantine in China. And now it's spread to India, situation where India, we have high rate of poverty. People already are immunocompromised. They're not getting enough nutrition to eat. Not all people, but in general, the populace, because of big population, there's a lot of poverty. United States, even if you're a well-off middle class, you think your immune system is in check. just take anything you eat every day and read what's in it. That's all you have to do to know that your immune system is garbage. Your immune system is not functioning. Whether you're a child, adult, elderly, your immune system is garbage unless you know how to detox your body, unless you've changed your diet, understand what the food that you're eating, refined carbohydrates, hormone-laden meat products and dairy, all of that stuff that's been processed over and over and over with toxic chemicals, and the air that you breathe and the water that you drink that's not clean because of the residual contaminants in them, then you know that your immune system is not ready for such a virus. No one's immune system is ready, because we're living a modern life, and we're sorry for the word, we're shitting on our ancestors' way of life, our ancestors' medicine, our ancestors' way of eating, our ancestors' way of tradition. We're just destroying our immune systems by every single day by eating refined carbohydrates and processed sugars, where we have no ability to fight off even the common flu and the common bacterial infections and common candida infections. So when a virus like this, which is now being aimed at a biological weapon that's been geared to infect you with all strains or portions of viral strains that can destroy your body and cripple your organs, cripple your whole body within days, how do you expect your immune system to react? It's not going to be able to. And people think, we're going to get a vaccine. Vaccines are already filled with toxic chemicals and preservatives themselves. So when we look at vaccines to save you from such a virus, all you need to do is just look at what you're eating, and then you know that we're being poisoned every single day with toxins that are in the environment due to pollution, but also preservatives and chemicals and enhancements, flavor enhancements, MSG, garbage over and over that's in our food in residual amounts. It's causing our immune systems to decay. Furthermore, we're in the age of 5G, which is going to eventually be implemented. It's on the route. There's no running away from it. They're trying to get people ready. And that itself is going to cause problems with your with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, with your immune system development, red blood cells, white blood cell count, etc., etc., etc. So, if you think that we're in a better situation here in Canada or in the United States, you're fooling yourself. At least in China, if people understand that they have the traditional Chinese medicine, although many of the ingredients that you'd use for traditional Chinese medicine is pesticide residue laden, fungicide residue laden, in toxic soil grown, such as lead, mercury, arsenic. Just look at rice. Their staple. Rice is infested with arsenic. Why? Because these pesticides don't function without arsenic. Right? These arsenic is needed for these pesticides to work. So imagine that what kind of systematic loop of corruption from the food, medicine, and whatnot we've been been exposed to around the world. So, at least China, they have a traditional Chinese medicine. In the U.S., we have homeopathic, naturopathic remedies, etc. But anyways, I don't want to go too much off topic, but these numbers are drastically growing. Right now, it was 9,000. Was it yesterday that was declared 9,000 people infected? Now there's 5,000 more infected. Of these 14,000, if we expect a survival rate of 50%, let's say 20% of these 14,000 that are infected, what are we looking at? We're looking at about 3,500 people would die if we're looking at about 25%, right? And then that's not including any people that are going to be infected based on these, fake, I would say, diluted numbers in the next few days. This is a big, serious problem. And it's no one's. I don't think any of the countries are ready for it. For sure, you can look at the faces of the WHO representatives. They're sweating. They're sweating. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know, and they're talking about a vaccine ready in about a year. Are you kidding me? This coronavirus, if they're using it for biological weapons, they haven't prepared a virus for it. Vaccine for this coronavirus. They haven't been studying it since 2003, 2004, which all the documents show. I don't know. I feel it's just another way of a population agenda. I feel that this is definitely taken not seriously by mainstream media, by the World Health Organization, by delaying the statement that this is a global emergency that needs to be attended to. And unfortunately, these numbers, in my opinion, based on simple math, you don't have to go and be an expert, right? Just take the simple numbers. You're quarantining. You have 50 million people in quarantine. 50 million. Okay? If it was a few hundred people that were infected, you would quarantine that radius. But if you're looking at 50 million people quarantined, and this virus is killing at a 50% death rate, I would say, at this point, then you have a serious problem that was known early on in January. And now WHO, rather than taking that initiative earlier to state a global emergency, they've waited at least 5-6 days until they just realize that this is a global emergency. So we're going to follow up and see what's really going to happen in the next few days. Racism is still very much alive in Canada. Okay. U.S. and Australia closed borders to Chinese arrivals. Wow. Okay, so this is definitely... The U.S. has now closed the borders. This is based from where? From BBC News. Pentagon prepares military bases for Wuhan coronavirus quarantine. Interesting. The Pentagon prepares for military bases for Wuhan coronavirus quarantine. The Pentagon needs to prepare a military base. Okay? Military base. Why would the Pentagon need to be involved? For the Pentagon is preparing to house up to 1,000 people at military sites who may need to be quarantined due to the Wuhan coronavirus. The Pentagon. Military bases need to be set up for 1,000 people. So are you telling me that this is not a biological weapon? If this is not a biological weapon, why is the Pentagon prepared for its military facilities to quarantine 1,000 people? The normal medical facilities is not able to handle this coronavirus if we've known the strains from 2003, 2004. The Pentagon acting on a request from the Department of Health and Human Services. So does it show to me that the worry is that this is a biological weapon or biological strain, biological warfare involved here, that the Pentagon needs to step in and prepare a special facility to house 1,000 people. Wow, 1,000 people. The coronavirus had killed 259 people, so now it's much more, and 12,000 people in China are infected. Wow, this is crazy news. Alright guys, well, I'll just end it off here with this person wearing a gas mask, sterilizing, I guess, some airplane or some unit here. I'm not sure, mobile unit, but as you can see, this is going a little bit haywire. We got the Pentagon now being involved to develop military bases. In any case, I'll keep you guys up to date further especially with the document or journal that came out from an Indian university, the Indian University of Technology. In New Delhi, they came out with a journal analyzing the coronavirus strain, this current one, and they found that there is 4 segments or 4 patterns on the genomic sequence showing HIV-1, HIV-2 present on the genomic sequence, which in general they're stating that it's very highly unlikely that it is established from nature. So in any case, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll try to bring you updates on a daily basis. I'll try to bring out major news outbreaks as well when those come in. I'll try to as well come up live on video on YouTube, but try subscribing if you haven't. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I want to be able to grow this channel further and bring news in a transparent, productive way, truth and news at the same time in a transparent way. So thanks a lot and take care. God bless.